we dropped by U of T on Thursday night with our Jumbotron truck. Check out the messaging we presented to serve as, well, a counterbalance to Francesca's odious propaganda. You know, folks, given that the University of Toronto recently hosted Israel hater Francesca Albanese just a few months after finally removing the pro-Hamas encampment from King's College Circle, a question arises. Is U of T President Merrick Gertler the biggest self-hating Jew in Canada this side of Liberal MP Yara I Love Mahmoud Abbas Sachs? Albanese is the UN Special Rapporteur for Palestine. And apparently her job as a special rapporteur means blaming Israel for, well, just about everything that's going wrong in the Middle East these days. Even when Israel suffers the worst mass murder of Jews since the Holocaust, as it did last October 7th, well, somehow, some way, Israel is to blame. You know, Albanese is so odious that even the Trudeau Liberals snubbed her the other day. Check out this story in the Toronto Sun, headlined, UN's Albanese blames pro-Israel lobby for cancelled meeting with Canadian officials. Quote, the UN Special Rapporteur for Palestine has blamed pro-Israeli groups for pressuring Canadian government officials to refuse to meet with her during a visit to Ottawa. Francesca Albanese told a press conference on Parliament Hill Tuesday that meetings with government officials, including Foreign Affairs Minister Melanie Joly, were unexpectedly cancelled. It's happening because of the pressure from pro-Israel lobby groups who are very vocal, very virulent, very aggressive, Albanese said. What are they fearing? I'm telling you the truth. I'm just speaking facts and international law. A source within Joly's office told the Toronto Sun that meetings with Albanese weren't cancelled. They never existed, confirming that no arrangements were ever made to facilitate a meeting between Albanese and Joly. End quote. Uh-oh, somebody's lying here. And poor Francesca, eh? These vocal, virulent, aggressive Zionists, they seem to be popping up everywhere, even in Canada, don't they? As Rebel News reported during the sweaty, smelly summer of 2024, King's College Circle was occupied by the River to the Sea reprobates for some 3 months. Calls for genocide against Jews went unchecked as that gutless U of T president curled up in the fetal position in his office, fretting, oh, what to do? Call the police maybe? After all, this pro-Hamas occupation was not a protest. It was a hate fest on private property. Several sections of the Trespass Act were violated, as was Section 319 of the Criminal Code of Canada regarding the promotion of hatred. Indeed, a similar encampment popped up at York University in North Toronto last summer as well. Guess what? It lasted one single solitary day. Why? Because the York University administrators picked up the phone, dialed 911, and the cops took out the Islamist trash. Meanwhile, check out my encounter with cowardly U of T administrators.
Miss Welsh, Miss Moffat, how are you? David Menzies here with Rebel News. I was reaching out to the communications department. You two have said that you're concerned about Islamophobia here at Little Gaza. Can you quantify that?
Could you please speak to media relations?
Yeah, they don't return our emails anymore, but that was a quote attributed to you. We see lots of anti-Semitism from the River to the Sea and Intifada. Why is this administration so woke and so weak? You can make one phone call to the Toronto Police Service, and this has gone overnight. What's the matter with you? No? I thought universities were a place of critical thinking, of debate, but you can't even say anything, can you? And is that your title? You're some kind of director of culture, equity, people strategy? What does that even mean? No? How about yourself? Again, we don't see any examples of Islamophobia, so why did you say that? That was a direct attribution to both of you ladies. Can I call you ladies? I didn't want to misgender you, just in case.
Gee, cat got their tongue? Anyway, after allowing the pro-hateful Hamas thugs to call the shots on campus last summer, the U of T administration actually invites Francesca Albanese to give a speech on campus, followed by a Q&A session. Oh, I bet that was a real knee slapper. Par for the course, we understand she whined on incessantly about, quote, the situation of human rights in the Palestinian territories, end quote. Hate to be a nitpicker here, but what about the human rights situation of the hostages that remain captive? The ones that are still alive, that is. Oh, that's right. They're mostly Israeli Jews, and as we've witnessed this past year, anti-Semitism is very much back in style these days. By the way, the event was billed as a, quote, unique opportunity for students to gain insight into the situation in Palestine, Israel, from the perspective of the United Nations and to engage with a renowned expert in international law, end quote. Yeah, like the kids on campus are not already fully indoctrinated on this particular file. Wow. And by the way, is Albanese part of that very same United Nations that rolled out the red carpet for Mahmoud Abbas a few days ago? To nobody's surprise, this pay-for-slay terrorist clamored for sanctions against Israel. Gross. And surely fantastic Francesca is not affiliated with the very same United Nations whose Relief and Works Agency, UNRWA, allegedly had employees actually taking part in the October 7th, 2023 massacre. Yeah, surely some mistake. In any event, we dropped by U of T on Thursday night with our Jumbotron truck. Check out the messaging we presented to serve as, well, a counterbalance to Francesca's odious propaganda. In any event, yet another shameful anti-Semitic hate fest takes place at Canada's largest university, presented by yet another Israel hater on the payroll of the United Nothings, and all with the full approval of self-hating uber-nebbish U of T President Gertler. Unbelievable. Oh, and by the way, folks, if you have kids who are students at U of T and so many other universities in the Western world, now you have a little bit of insight as to why little Johnny and little Janie graduate as, well, basically Islamo-Marxists. Hey, when it comes to indoctrination, as the marketers on Madison Avenue say, get them young, get them forever. As for the UN's special rapporteur, can you kindly get the hell out of our country? I mean, when even the pro-Hamas Justin Trudeau liberals won't meet with you, methinks that is the very definition of being beyond the pale.
In stark contrast to the beautiful Remembrance Day ceremonies here today, we see every weekend chants for genocide of the Jewish people by the pro-Hamas side. I don't see any end in sight, unfortunately. Are you sick and tired of this? Please go to our website, deporthamas.com. That's deporthamas.com. Put your signature there. You know, many of these people, they're not even Canadian citizens. If you think it's your right to come here and chant genocide, well, give your head a shake, and while you're at it, pack your bags and get the hell out of our country.